Welcome to round 3 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of August 17th. I'm Catherine Haleko, and I'm here with Terry Morrow.
Hello.
And Nicole Erdix.
Hi there.
We're moms of teens and young adults, and when it comes to parenting, we've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. But we're still waiting for that day when we'll reach the finish line and have no further need to lay down in a dark room with a wet rag over our eyes, worrying about something or other. Wednesday's complaint day here on Parenting Roundabout, and today we're complaining about some of the hygiene fails that we've noticed during the pandemic. So, Terry, you had an experience at your doctor's office?
Yeah, I went for a physical last week, and it was the first time I'd really been out of the house since like March. I've been holed up partially because I work at home, and my son's not going to work, so I have no reason to drive him anywhere. Church, we've been watching church from home. We take walks every day, walk around the high school next door every day, but other than that, I've been home, so I haven't had to wear a mask. I haven't had to really do anything. But I had this physical scheduled, and so I went, and of course, had to wear a mask, which I had not been doing before, and they are not comfortable. I think you get used to them, I would imagine, but this was the first time I had to wear one, and it fogged up my glasses, and I was getting a little lightheaded from having my breath constantly mashed against my face, so that was not fun. But you go to the doctor, and first you have to go through this checkpoint at the front where they take your temperature, and they ask you if you've been out of the state or out of the country, and if you've had any illnesses or whatever, and then you go in, and you can talk to the lady at the front desk, but you have to stand 6 feet away. They have a piece of tape, and she's got a mask on, so sometimes that's a little difficult, but okay, we're doing this for hygiene, that's great. And then, they have a lot of the chairs taped off in the waiting room, so people are spaced apart. That's great. You go into the doctor, he's wearing a mask, you're wearing a mask, everybody's masked. Everything that you do, you're standing 6 feet away from people. Normally after an exam, you just go over to the lab and get your blood taken and samples and stuff. But now they have to schedule that because they want not too many people waiting for it. So I had to come back in about a half an hour to get that done. That's okay. We're doing all this. We're keeping germ free. We're being very hygienic. That's great. Went and got my blood taken. I saw one of the other blood takers was spraying the chair between patients. That's great. That's hygienic. We really want to do that. The lady gave me the little vial for a urine sample and said, don't bring it back in here. There's a little door in the bathroom. Put it in this little door. And she had a door on her side. Great. That seems really hygienic. So then you go into the bathroom to give the urine sample, and it's like a petri dish. This damn floor is wet. There's papers all over the place. There's wet papers in the corner behind the toilet. It's just like, oh my goodness, everything here is contaminated. What can I touch? If I touch that and then touch my mask, what disease am I giving myself? It was like, it's always like that, really. Generally, Any doctor I've been to, it's always like that. But at the end of this long procedure in which everything was aimed at being perfectly hygienic and not contaminating anything, after all of this rigmarole, to walk in there and having it be so damp and icky, I was like, can't this be part of it too? Can't this be part of the hygiene push? Could they assign some poor soul? I am so sorry, doctor's office employee, I hate to ask you this, but clean the bathroom after every patient? Is this not a possible thing? If not, give people the opportunity to bring a sample with them. That seems perfectly reasonable. Say, if you would prefer not to go into the bathroom of doom, you can bring your sample with you, or you can bring it back later. But no, it's like, everything is aimed at this, and then this last stop, folks, you're on your own, just deal with it, put it in the door so we don't have to see anything else, and go out. By this time, you're done, just don't touch anything on your way out. So I'm like, I think there's probably other things going on that are like, have the form of being completely non-contaminated, but not 100% the content of it, So I was wondering if you guys had any other experiences like that, where you jump through a whole bunch of hoops, and then at the end, you see something that's just completely not included in the program. I guess it's like these people who go to supermarkets and then spit on the produce, because they can. Because what can you do? You can't cover the produce in plastic. But I don't know. Have you had any experiences like that? It was so disappointing. And I complained when I was there, and I complained on the tell us how your exam was form. Mm-hmm. So I probably have a black mark next to my name now. Oh, that's that old Mrs. Morrow comes in here and complains about the bathrooms. She's probably the one who got it all messy. It was probably her. So I'm sure
there should be an option to
the people above the masks. I'm going to be getting stink eyes from above masks now.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't even like the whole, go to the bathroom on demand thing. And
yes,
then carry the container back to the receptionist or the nurse. Like,
well, you don't even do this now. They had like a little door, and you put it in the door, and then the door opened on the other side. So you don't have to you don't have to touch anything in the blood thing once you've been, unclean.
Mine, you have to carry through the office, like through the waiting room to the other side. And
it used to be
wrap
like
a
that.
Paper towel around it.
It's so embarrassing. And the whole thing of delivering on demand is difficult as well.
It is. And as you get older, it takes a little longer.
I know. Somebody knocked on the door, so I just finally gave up and put my 2 little drops in the door, and then I had to apologize for the lady going as I went out. It's really messy in there, but it wasn't me. I cleaned up after myself. I didn't do that. Right. It's so awful. Just send me a vial in the mail and say, fill it up and bring it in. And
right? I mean, you can do the fecal tests at home. Why can't you do a pee test at home?
I used to do that because I really did have a produce on demand problem. And so I would go and buy some of those things and bring it in. But I didn't, lately it's, I haven't been that organized, or I haven't been that, I don't know, dry. Mm-hmm. But this time I sure wished I had, and I sure will the next time. Just say please. But especially at this coronavirus panic time, it just seemed like such a fail. What the heck?
Yeah, I know.
Why is this so awful now? Even though probably that particular body fluid doesn't spread COVID, so they don't care. But still.
Yeah, it's still just gross.
I feel like,
like in a doctor's office.
Yeah.
That's the one area where you'd think they'd be extra, hygiene.
You'd like to think you can rely on their hygiene.
It's really
practices. Weird. Yeah, I had to have blood drawn the other day, and similar, Terry, you get your temperature taken at the door, and then you have to stand 6 feet back from the person who checks you in. But I had to initial some stuff and sign my name on one of those little pads.
Ooh.
And they didn't have hand sanitizer right there for after you use their stylus thingy.
Uh-huh.
I did find some elsewhere, but and then after I had I had gotten my blood drawn, and then, well, first of all, they had all the chairs spaced out in the waiting area. Mm-hmm. But then when the tech came to get me, there was another person leaving. So, I had to pass right by him. She couldn't have waited 10 seconds for that person to leave so that I could come in. And then when it was time to go, I had to open the door. I had to touch the door handle.
Yeah.
There was no I'll open the door for you, or change it to a push with your butt kind of thing. So anyway, well,
I have the tool for you.
I've seen these things.
And we have several in our house. Well, several of us in our house own one, and it is awesome.
Is it the little rubber?
Yep.
As seen on TV thing?
Yep. It is awesome. And I highly recommend, I'll recommend it. I'll talk about it later on our other podcast. But yeah, that is the answer to Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, but yeah, people, I mean, I just don't get like there's some glaringly like obvious situations in which people are like all their efforts are for naught.
Yeah.
Because they've missed a crucial aspect. Like this is something that's been bugging me for so long, and I haven't really actually had an opportunity to complain about this in a public forum, but
here we are.
We're here
We're
for you. Tell us
and
about
it's
it.
not necessarily COVID relatable. I guess it is, but it's just more overall general hygiene related. And I don't understand why restaurants do this, because they go to all this effort to package up and prepare your food. And I understand that there are people that are handling your food, hopefully with gloves on, and packaging it up and making sure that, it's all hygienic. But then, for example, if you order a salad, there are certain restaurant chains, very popular restaurant chains whose initials are PB, that will take a little plastic container that somebody's picked up and handled and put dressing in it for the salad, and then stick it in the salad container sitting on top of your salad. So all the germs that were on that plastic container are now sitting on your salad. So, and that just annoys me to no end. And actually, they're not the only place that does that, because I've seen that in other areas. But I just think this is just so, like, what, how does this pass their hygiene, regulations? I don't understand that. Does anybody else get annoyed by that? Because it really picks me. I mean, and I eat at this place quite a bit, and I typically choose their salads because I really like their salads. And yet constantly they're throwing in that plastic dressing container sitting on top of my lettuce, and I'm just
that's upsetting.
We really don't want to do. We don't want to do anything that discourages Nicole from eating salad.
Exactly. They're making it worse. Do they not realize they're putting a big hurdle up? I mean, last night I had a salad from another restaurant, and they left their plastic containers out. Mm-hmm. And that I appreciated that.
Absolutely.
And that made me feel like I was eating food that hadn't been contaminated by a plastic container.
You probably don't want to know what really goes on in those restaurants.
I know.
It's probably some kid grabbing the lettuce with their hand and dumping it in the plastic container, but
I know.
It's probably to ignore that if you...
It's probably the least of my concerns. I'm very aware of that. But this is just one glaringly obvious situation. I don't understand how restaurants can get away with that when they go through all this whole checklist of procedures, right?
Right.
I'm going to complain.
Yeah, get yourself a reputation like mine, Nicole.
I'm getting there.
Then you have to worry that they'll say, "Oh, there's Mrs. Eridix coming. Go spit in her salad.
Go spit in it." Yeah, exactly.
I'm getting used to speaking my mind. I've lived here for too long.
Uh-oh. You're losing all your polite Canadianness.
Right.
But I still might, address it like, I'm so sorry to let you know, but.
Right.
Yeah, I tried to be polite, and then I thought later.
So sorry to ask.
When I was complaining about the bathroom, I was leaning really close to the girl I was talking to. I probably was less than 6 feet, so they probably hate me for that, too.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, Catherine, do you have any complaints?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you did. Your door thing. Yes.
My door handle, and yeah, it's hard. And also, like, we now have a mask mandate in my state, which happened, much later than it did everywhere else. But, if you're going to wear a mask, people, you need to wear it on your nose and mouth.
Yes.
Like, I would never say anything to anybody because at least they're wearing it, and they're, maybe they're doing it as a protest. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it doesn't work if you. if you don't cover your nose, my friends.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. We just have to really, I mean, I know that there's a lot to think about and there's a lot of steps to take in order to be healthy and hygienic, but there's just some really obvious ones, people.
I just prefer to stay in my house. Can I just stay in my house? I have a problem with going for a physical is then you get like 5 or 6 appointments that you have to make after that.
Oh, I know.
So I need to get myself a better mask. I have a friend who's making masks, and I think I'm going to ask her to make me one and hope it fits better than the paper one from the supermarket. But the glasses problem is real.
yeah.
It is.
And significant because I'm going to walk into things, you know? I can't
Yeah,
see.
you need that little like hard plastic part.
Yes. I might
Not
just
by
find
your
like a
face.
clothespin or something to put on her. So yeah, I think that's what needs to happen. This needs to be better thought out.
Well, we're all going to have quite a wardrobe of masks before too long.
it's an accessory.
For different occasions.
Yes.
Yes. Matching. But, you know, as long as people are wearing masks, I'm not complaining. So
That's right.
I'm just going to continue to complain about my plastic containers in my salad. So
Absolutely. It's an outrage.
yes, it's an outrage. And that's it for today's round 3. Tune in tomorrow when we'll talk about sleepovers and then on Friday to see what we've come up with for our Roundabout Roundup picks this week. Find all our episodes at parentingroundabout.com and talk back in the comments there on our Facebook page or on Twitter where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat.